Yo, what up? Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. We're gonna review Mars Red, the vampiric unit that hunts vampires and basically puts them in their ranks, right? Apparently this was done over a screenplay or something. I'm not 100% sure from what I read. You could tell that though, very heavily inspired by live theater. Actually, one of the vampires is actually an actor, does live theater. Says that's the only one he keeps saying because he's been alive for so long. But let's focus on the timeline or the time frame we have here, right? It takes place in the 1920s. Beautiful era, actually. They actually do a really good job on this, on the artwork. It looks beautiful. Music is legit. I actually enjoyed the theme song and stuff like that. The story is kind of confusing. It's probably one of those shows you have to rewatch again. Some of the timeline doesn't make sense. Some of it is blurry. We don't even get to see how some of them become vampires. It's kind of just hinted at it. The way you become a vampire is you get bitten. If you survive getting bitten, you become a vampire. Probably like 90% of people die after they get bit. I guess there's other ways you can make people vampires. Give them blood. I think I saw that a couple times. Again, some people, even though they survive, they become insane, or they live out their last moments. That happens a lot in this show. Actually, we get to see a couple vampires that are not all there and had to be taken down. Overall though, the whole plot of the story was kind of dumb. They used vampires to protect the world, but you gotta understand, vampires can't survive in the daylight. They need guardians. We've seen that multiple times in movies and stuff like that. Another thing that happens in the show is they create artificial vampires through artificial blood, and they don't tell them, and then they use the units to kill those vampires. It kind of doesn't make sense sometimes. I'm like, what's going on here? It's just a craziness that's coming together. I think the moral of the story is it's the end time for vampires. I don't know. Our two main characters are Yoshinobu Maeda and Shutoru Kurusu. Maeda, of course, is the commander of the unit Squad Zero, called the vampire units in Japan. He's human. He's lost an arm in a battle. We kind of get to see that a little bit, but not too much. And Kurusu is a soldier who was bitten during combat. The only one from I could guess survived from his unit and became an A-class vampire. There are class rankings in vampires, apparently. You have S, A, and that's all we get. They really don't explain it. You can become unranked. That means you're nobody in the vampire world, close to a human. A ranks are pretty high up there. You know, they feel, they sense danger. They could communicate, with blood sense. They don't explain none of this, actually. You just gotta kind of guess what they're doing and go with it, right? Who's the main villain in this? Well, you guessed it, vampire. Some random vampire we don't know anything about, creating these super vampire units. Meanwhile, some of our own main characters are fighting amongst each other, trying to figure out everything, while the earthquake that hit Tokyo in the 20s hits here. We get to see all that. That's actually really cool. And overall, you can kind of see where everything's coming from. Actually, I figured this all out in the first episode. I was like, yeah, that's gonna happen, and yeah, everything I thought about did happen. So that kind of sucks for me, but overall I still finished it all the way through. I love the art style. It's very minimal with a lot of black. I love that kind of stuff, and it gets to you sometimes, but overall, man, it was a pretty average one for me. That's why I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 10. It's an average anime for me. It was all right. There's a lot of vampire stuff on Funimation right now. Check it out, right? Remember, I'm still selling t-shirts. Links down below. Thanks for watching this review, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.